Interesting facts about butterflies. The lifespan of an adult butterfly is particularly short, but the growth process beforehand can be much longer. Comprised of 4 stages: egg, larva, caterpillar, pupa, chrysalis, and finally adult butterfly, the complete life cycle of a butterfly from egg to adulthood can last anywhere from 30 days to multiple years. We know that bees are excellent pollinators, but butterflies are pretty impressive sidekicks. This is partly because butterflies pollinate cotton flowers, a part of the cotton plant that bees naturally do not frequent, thus boosting cotton harvest. This type of pollination, where multiple insects work to pollinate different portions of the same plant, is called pollination complementarity, and it occurs with other plants too, like almonds. Signaled by the cooler weather and shorter days, monarch butterflies from the northern US and Canada begin their journey towards Mexico in search of warmer weather. Alternatively, monarchs from across the western region of the US migrate to the coast of California for the winter and then once again scatter amongst other western states when spring arrives. The wings of a butterfly are covered in a multitude of miniature scales, thousands of them. And those colors you see when a butterfly flits across your yard are the reflection of various colors through the scales. The wings themselves are made up of a protein called chitin, which is the same protein that forms an insect's exoskeleton. And much like an exoskeleton, chitin is transparent. If you've ever considered memorizing all the various species of butterflies, it may take longer than you were anticipating. An easier starting point would be those species regularly occurring in the lower 48 states of the US. Still, that number is right around 575. A butterfly's daily activities consist of eating and mating, both of which require landing, even if it is only briefly. When food is the priority, those taste receptors help the butterfly locate the right plants and the key nutrients it needs for survival. The average lifespan of an adult butterfly is roughly 3 to 4 weeks, however, the entire life cycle can last anywhere between 2 and 8 months. As with anything, there are exceptions to the rule. At least one species of butterfly lives for approximately 24 hours, while some migratory butterflies, like the North American monarch, can survive for nearly 8 months. Named for its mostly white marking, when hints of yellow and green like the vegetable, the cabbage white may not be the most colorful butterfly in your garden or yard, but it is the most common. The male cabbage white has 1 prominent black spot on each wing, while the female has 2. Although in many cases cold weather will end the already short life of a butterfly by rendering them immobile, others take the dropping temperature as a signal to move. Butterflies are cold-blooded and require, in ideal settings, a body temperature of approximately 85 degrees to activate their flight muscles. If the weather begins changing, some species simply migrate in search of sunshine. Some, like the North American monarch, travel an average of 2,500 miles. With a wingspread of between 4 and 7 inches, this species has a name that fits its dimensions. If you have ever seen one on a hike or around your yard, you may have been spellbound by the sight of it. Their swallowtail description is borrowed from birds of the same name, thanks to the long tails on this butterfly's hindwings. We mentioned earlier that butterflies like to eat, which is true. What we didn't include at the time is that their source of food is exclusively liquid. In fact, they simply don't have the necessary apparatus for chewing. Using their proboscis, which functions in the same way you or I might use a straw, butterflies drink nectar or some other variation of liquid sustenance. Despite how wings may appear in motion, or in drawings or paintings you may have seen, butterflies have 4 separate wings. The wings closest to its head are called the forewings, while those in the rear are called the hindwings. Thanks to the strong muscles in the butterfly's thorax, all 4 wings move up and down in a figure 8 pattern during flight. Butterflies cannot fly if their body temperature is less than 86 degrees. Butterflies can see red, green, and yellow. Some people say that when the black bands on the woolly bear caterpillar are wide, a cold winter is coming. The top butterfly flight speed is 12 miles per hour. Some case moth caterpillars, Psychidae, build a case around themselves that they always carry with them. It is made of silk and pieces of plants or soil. The caterpillars of some snout moths, Pyralidae, live in or on water plants. The females of some moth species lack wings, all they can do to move is crawl. The Morgan's sphinx moth from Madagascar has a proboscis, tube mouth, that is 12 to 14 inches long to get the nectar from the bottom of a 12-inch deep orchid discovered by Charles Darwin. Some moths never eat anything as adults because they don't have mouths. They must live on the energy they stored as caterpillars. Many insects can carry 50 times their own body weight. This would be like an adult person lifting 2 heavy cars full of people. There are over 1 million described species of insects. Some people estimate there are actually between 15 and 30 million species. Most insects are beneficial to people because they eat other insects, pollinate crops, are food for other animals, make products we use, like honey and silk, or have medical uses. Butterflies and insects have their skeletons on the outside of their bodies, called the exoskeleton. This protects the insect and keeps water inside their bodies so they don't dry out.